Hello, and welcome to the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. I am the founder and the senior director, Issachar Bey, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning into our channel, being a part of our community, we ask that you let us know what city, what state, what country are you listening from. Go ahead and let us know in the chat. If you can, by all means, go ahead and hit that like button so that you can go ahead and help us to raise the algorithm so that we can go ahead and be able to be more visible and allow ourselves to be more in front of those people like yourself who will be a part of this community to get the wisdom and the knowledge that we give out. I want to thank all of you for continuing to be consistent with being here every week, same time, same place. I'm loving the feedback that we're getting from this series on the 8 pillars of success. Getting a lot of feedback. People are telling us that they're having a great time. They're really getting a lot out of this. I want to thank all of you for your feedback, for letting us know that this information, this knowledge, this wisdom is allowing you to change your life, that's giving you a different perspective on things and allowing you to move into a greater depth and a higher height. So we want to thank all of you for just being committed, and thank you for your presence. We ask also, if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button and become a subscriber of our channel. Join our community so that when things are being posted, things are being released, you will get notified and you will be a part of that. Also, if you find anything on this channel that you feel has been beneficial to you, that has really opened your awareness and have really allowed you to make the transition, the change that you need in your life, go ahead and hit that share button and begin to copy the link and either share it by email, text, or however you share your information to your friends, your loved ones, anybody who you think will be beneficial to this information on this channel. And so we want to thank all of you for that. We are on number 7. We're on pillar 7 today. This has been a great series on the pillars of success. I believe everybody listening to me, we all want to get success. We all want to experience success. But we must also realize that success is not a mistake. Success is on purpose. And so these pillars that we're standing on is allowing us to build a foundation where we can continually grow and thrive and live in success, live as success, and begin to really encounter it on a whole new level. And so we are grateful and for everybody's presence, for everybody's commitment and consistency to our community. And we want to say thank you. I also want to go ahead and let us get into a quiet place as we get ready to move into our spiritual mind treatment. Our spiritual mind treatment allows us to come into a level of oneness where we quiet our minds, we quiet our thoughts, we quiet every aspect of our body so that we can be in a position to be in a moment of quietness to receive that which is going to be brought forth in today's teaching. And so we want to make sure that we are in the right place at the right time, connected all as one. Go ahead and take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. Again, go ahead and inhale and exhale. Once again, go ahead and inhale and exhale. I turn my awareness to the infinite presence, the divine intelligence that is forever expanding, renewing, and evolving. This presence is life itself, never static, never confined, always becoming more of itself. I recognize now that I am one with this evolving spirit, created in his image and endowed with the power to transform, to elevate, and to rise again and again. I declare that I stand firmly upon the pillar of evolution. I am not bound by past versions of myself. I am not imprisoned by former choices, outdated identities, or inherited limitations. I am fluid, expansive, and ever becoming. I welcome change as divine movement, and I say yes to reinvention, knowing that it is the natural rhythm of a soul aligned with truth. I affirm that every experience, every challenge, every breakthrough is an invitation to rise, to become more aligned, more aware, more fully myself. I embrace growth, not with struggle, but with divine ease. For I am supported by the same intelligence that renews the seasons and lifts the sun each day. Gratitude floods my being as I recognize the gift of transformation. I am not the same as I was yesterday, and I rejoice in this truth. I bless the past, honor the present, and welcome the future with open arms and a willing heart. I release this word into the divine law, knowing that the path of evolution is sacred, supported, and already unfolding. I walk boldly, trusting the process, reinventing when called, and rising ever higher in the light of divine becoming. And so it is, and so it is. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to our series, The 8 Pillars of Success. Please, those of you, if you're just tuning in, please hit the like button. It allows us to raise the algorithms. You're doing us a great help by hitting that like button. Also, if you can, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so. Today, we're going to be dealing with pillar number 7, the pillar of evolution. Reinvent and elevate constantly. Every week we go higher and higher. Every week we go deeper and deeper. These pillars, as I said before, as we've been working on this particular series, these pillars are the foundation upon which we will stand. These pillars are what help us to grow, to expand, to lift our levels of consciousness in order to embrace and experience the levels of success that we all want to experience in every aspect of our lives. And so today we're talking about the pillar of evolution. If you're not evolving, you're dissolving. I'll say that again. If you're not evolving, you are dissolving. Everybody needs to be evolving. We're not here to stay the same. We're not here to protect comfort zones or to coddle our past lives, our past selves, our past habits. We are here to transcend, to elevate, to recode our consciousness over and over again. The greats never stayed the same. They evolved, expanded, and elevated. From caterpillar to butterfly, from brick phone to smartphone, from student to master, from who you were last year to who you call to become now. Evolution. And so I want to talk today about a few things. We're going to talk about the pillar of evolution. Those of you that are listening to me, we do not want to stay the same. Who you were last year is not who you should be this year. Who you were 10 years ago should not be who you are now. You should not be doing the same thing, talking the same way, living the same way. You should have evolved. Evolving has a level of expansion, a level of growing. And in order for us to embrace this level of success that we are inquiring about, we have to embrace this evolution, which means that we all are evolving. There's nothing that stays the same. We all are evolving and expanding. And if you're not evolving, you're dissolving. And I don't want to dissolve. I want to be able to evolve into my greatness, evolve into my greatest success, my greatest accomplishments. When we talk about evolving, there's some things that we have to look at, like reinventing yourself over and over again without an apology, learning how to break the addiction of your old identity, staying relevant without losing your authenticity, constantly upgrading your software, your beliefs, your habits, and your inner dialogue. Evolve your legacy, your message, and your influence. Become, because the moment you stop evolving, you start fading away. How many of us know people who, at some point in their life, they were thriving, they were, seemed like they were on their way, and then all of a sudden, you look around and they faded away. They're no longer there anymore. They're not the person they used to be. Everybody knew that they were just on their way to this level of greatness, to this level of success. And for some apparent reason, they faded away. There's a paradox about evolution. Most people are afraid to change, but the real danger is staying the same. When people come to me for consultation sometimes, and we get into the consultation and we start looking at things, and I say, hey, listen, this coming up month looks like it may be some big changes coming in. The first thing a person says to me is it a good change or is it a bad change? Which one is it? And ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know there is no such thing as a good change or a bad change. The only thing that matters is how you react to the change. How you react to the change will determine how it plays out, good or bad. But there's no such thing as a good change or a bad change. Change is change. You weren't destined to be stagnant. But some people may be listening on and saying, you know what, it seems like I listen to these talks like this, I listen to these channels, Issachar Bey, I'm listening to all this great teaching you're giving me, and it just seems like everything is stagnant. Like, I can't get anything to move. I can't get anything to go and start moving in a good direction for me. It seems like I'm just stuck in life, stagnant. You are not destined to be stagnant. But I'm glad you're listening today, because hopefully today you will hear some things that will allow you to move out of the stagnant consciousness and begin to move into a level of evolution. The universe doesn't reward comfort, it rewards courage. Do you have the courage to allow yourself to evolve? What got you here won't get you there, which means there has to be a change. What got you here, ladies and gentlemen, everything you went through in life that got you to this point here today will not get you to where you're trying to go to, which means that there has to be a level of evolution here. There has to be some changes, some transformations. Everything in the universe is vibrational. From the cells, from your cells to your circumstances, everything is energy in motion. The moment energy stops moving, it begins to decay. Energy is designed to move. So if you're not evolving, you are energetically decaying, dissolving. Your soul craves expansion, but society conditions you to settle. They condition you to just deal with things as they are, stay as they are, stay put, stay in the place that you are in. No, 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 no. You can be what you want to be in this life. You can have what you want to have in this life, and you can experience whatever you want to have in your life. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You can make that decision right now, here today. You don't have to wait next week. You don't have to wait 2 hours from now. You ain't got to wait 5 minutes from now. You can make that decision right now at this moment. We don't change people through censorship. We change people through conversation. We don't change people through censorship. We change people through conversation. Evolution happens through dialogue. The dialogue with self, with spirit, with experience. It happens when you sit with new truths that allow you to embrace these uncomfortable ideas and visionary perspectives. You have to ask yourself the question, who am I becoming? What version of me is outdated and needs to be upgraded? Who am I becoming? I want you to ask yourself that question. Who am I becoming? In the world we live in today, with everything that's happening around us, when you wake up till you go to sleep, all of the things that are happening in the news and the papers, everything. Who am I becoming? Because listen, ladies and gentlemen, you only get out of life what you become. You never get out of life what you want. You only get what you become. Who am I becoming? Because once you become who you are becoming, a shift happens. The evolution happens. What version of me is outdated and needs to be upgraded? Am I thinking old thoughts? Am I just going through the flow? I wake up every day. I do the same thing I've been doing for 8 years. I have the same daily routines. I go to the same places I've always been going. People can automatically know on Tuesday at 3 o'clock where I'm going to be at because I've been going there for 20 years. What version of me is outdated and needs to be upgraded? Everybody needs an upgrade. I need to be upgraded. I don't want to still operate from yesterday, from last week, from last year, from 5 years ago. I want to be updated into now, where I am now. What am I becoming? The next is I give myself permission to evolve beyond what I used to be. I give myself permission to evolve beyond who I used to be. Sometimes you have to learn how to give yourself permission to live, because we've been so programmed that we give ourselves excuses. Well, the reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I'm like this is because of this. The reason why I'm like this is because my mother taught me that, you always do it like this. My grandmother told me you do it like this. My father showed me that this is the way that you always have to do it. And that's not necessarily true. I'm going to give myself permission to evolve by how I used to be. Why? You only get out of life what you become. And what I became, what I used to be, didn't satisfy me, didn't get me where I wanted to be, didn't allow me to experience the levels of success that I wanted to experience. It didn't give me the opportunities and the places to travel around the world and to manifest my dreams and my goals based on who I used to be. So I'm giving myself permission to evolve beyond this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking, but I want you to know that that sentence right there, where you give yourself permission to evolve beyond who you used to be, it's going to take more than just talking, because who you used to be is based on your habits, your thought patterns. So when you give yourself permission to evolve beyond that, there's going to be a transformational structure on the inside that has to change. As within, so without. Some of you are married, you're in relationships, and you're saying to yourself, I want to give myself permission to evolve beyond who I used to be, because I want a better relationship with my spouse. I want a better relationship with my husband. I want a better relationship with my wife. I want to have a better relationship with my children. I want to have a better relationship with my siblings. I want to have a better relationship with my parents. Now, let me say this. Anytime you have a problem in your life, anytime you have a problem in your life with whoever it is, you never go to the person that you have the problem with to change and to make them change. You change yourself. What do? You give yourself permission to evolve behind the person that you used to be. And when you do that and you change who you are and you evolve from the person that you used to be, and now you're the new person, you've evolved, things in your life will begin to shift, things in your life will begin to change, things will begin to adapt and move in a different perspective. So this is what happens when you move and elevate and move in those predicaments. You begin to look at those things as you evolve. Most people are addicted to an outdated identity. They keep showing up as the version of themselves that got love, approval, and survival, but not freedom. We connect ourselves to the identity that we think people loved, people liked, people definitely gravitated towards. But in that identity, we don't have any freedom, because that identity is not us. Number two, that identity is old. So we're kind of holding ourselves back, ladies and gentlemen, because we are gravitating and holding on to an identity that's from the past. And so we can't really evolve into who we really want to become, because we're still holding on to yesterday and yesteryear. But when we learn how to get out of being addicted to that, because the identity of the person that everybody loves, everybody caters to, everybody embraces, you love that feeling of having love, approval. You love that the laughter, the joy, the family dynamic of that happening, but inside you're not free, because that's not you. And so how long are you going to live portraying to be somebody else, or putting on a mask to be somebody else, and not originally operating in who you are? Because I'm addicted to this identity that's not really me, it's old, and I really want to evolve and become something new and move into a whole new identity, but we're worried about what people are going to think about us. We're worried about if our family going to like us, if this is going to happen, if that's going to happen. And at this point, you have to make a decision. Evolution requires you to outgrow yourself on purpose. The job title you loved, let it go. That way of thinking, outdated. That spiritual practice, time to deepen it. Everything must be upgraded, everything in your life. Sometimes we get caught in comfort, and we're just going day by day, and if nothing happens, we stay the same. But we don't evolve. We don't push ourselves to grow. We don't push ourselves to increase. We don't push ourselves to be much smarter, much wiser, much healthier than we were yesterday, than we were last week, than we were last year, right? Evolution, ladies and gentlemen. This pillar is of extreme importance because when we talk about success, when we talk about acquiring success in every aspect of your life, you must learn how to evolve. Evolution doesn't mean that I'm still focusing on what happened 20 years ago, what happened 10 years ago, what happened 15 years ago. Evolution says I'm looking forward to the future. Why? The best way to predict the future is to create it. So in evolution, I'm creating my future. That's why I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a situation you're dealing with and you don't want to deal with that situation no more and you want to make a change in your life, you can make that change at this very moment. You just got to make a decision. We glorify loyalty to others, but how loyal are you to your own growth? Some of you are imprisoned by your past personality. And what happens is, what that also means is that if you are imprisoned by your past personality, it also lets me know that you are with people who are connected to that past personality, who love the way you think back then, who love the way you act, the way you talk back then. And so you want to evolve. You want to grow into a deeper level, a high level of success. You want to really take your life to the next level. You have to begin to break the walls of limitation and begin to get out of the imprisonment of your past personalities. Let go of labels. You're not your resume, your trauma, or your achievements. Let go of the labels. Don't get caught up into what I did. Oh, I wrote a book. Oh, I won an award. Those are great accomplishments. Those are great things. But you don't want to pull yourself and connect to those things. Why? Because those things are what we call measurements of what we received. Those are the accolades. Those are the awards that we received for the place that we are in our journey right now. But those stay there, and guess what happens? We keep moving. So we don't stay locked in at that particular place just because we won an award, just because I've got this greatest achievement. That's great. We keep thriving. We keep evolving. Anybody on this call who's married, when you first got married in year one, it was year one. But now if you're in year 10, it's something totally different. Why? Both of you have evolved. None of you are where you were in year 10 as you were in year one. You've evolved. So you done been through all kind of stuff between year 1 and year 10 because of that evolution. Stop seeking validation from outdated systems. And I'll add this on there. Stop seeking validation from outside sources. You don't need validation. The only one that needs to validate you is you. If you need, and you're in a position where you're saying to yourself, I like this person because they validate me. They make me feel good. They make me feel like I'm somebody. We having a problem here, ladies and gentlemen, because now you have allowed yourself to be in a position where you have given your power over to this person. And this person makes you feel like you're somebody. They validate you. They make you feel good. And so now they have control over you. What happens, my friend, when that person no longer validates you? no longer makes you feel good. And so automatically I want to go and look within, because I want to go look within and find out what inside of me is making me feel like I'm not enough. What inside of me is making me feel like I need validation from somebody else? What inside of me is not allowing me to feel a level of happiness that I can't have within myself? And so I have to go within. Now, it's always great to have somebody in your life and not to be alone and all of those things. And that's wonderful. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You could be in a relationship with somebody and still be alone. You could be laying in the bed, your toes curled up with their toes, your legs wrapped up in their legs, and you can still be alone, ladies and gentlemen. So being in a relationship, being with somebody does not negate none of this at all, because you can still be alone by being with somebody. So we come back to the premise here of how can I go within and begin to change these inner voids that I have inside of me, so that now I can let go of these past personalities, these past identities that I had, and begin to start evolving and becoming the person that I'm supposed to be becoming. We need to update our language. Stop saying I've been this way. This is not a personality. It's a prison. I've been this way. This, the language we speak. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. They that love it will eat the fruit thereof. So we have to be very mindful of the words we speak, because words have power. And our language creates the worlds that we live in. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're not a noun. You are a verb, a becoming, a becoming, a becoming. You are a verb, not a noun. You are a becoming. Shakespeare said it best. He says, to be or not to be, that is the question. And I say, yeah, you're right. Because everybody listening to me under the sound of my voice, they have classified us as human beings. And the word beings is the word be, B-I-N-G-E, B-E-I-N-G, being, and the word human being. And in that word being is the word be, which means to be. We are becoming. We are a verb and not a noun. You're becoming. Every day you're becoming. You're walking in your becoming. You're walking in your becoming. You're not walking in what you used to be. You're not walking in what you want to be. You're not walking in what you hope to be. You're not walking in what happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Every year you are walking in your becoming. Now listen to me. If you're listening to what I'm saying thus far, everything I've said thus far, and you take what I've said and work with it, you will see your life change drastically, especially those of you who are in situations and circumstances right now, and you're feeling very stuck in life because you feel like I'm stuck. So I'm thinking about moving, because if I move to another state, then things will open up for me. If I move here and I move there, when in reality, that's not going to happen. The only moving you need to do is the moving of your mind. You need to relocate your thoughts. And when you learn how to relocate your thoughts, you will see that you begin to move in that becoming atmosphere. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly through ambition. The caterpillar doesn't surrender. It doesn't become a butterfly through surrender. Only through transformation, through stillness and breaking. It doesn't become a butterfly through ambition. Just because I'm ambitious, because I'm, optimistic. No, 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 no. It becomes a butterfly through surrender. It surrenders to the transformation. through stillness and breaking. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to change your life at this moment today and begin to embrace the pillar of evolution, you're going to have to learn how to surrender to transformation. I need to transform myself. I need to transform from the old thinking to the new person. I need to get rid of the old ways that I used to be, the old things that I used to do, the old places I used to go. I want to get rid of all of that. I want to transform my life into becoming the things that I want to experience. I want to make more money in my life. I want to have more joy, more fun. I want to be in a loving relationship. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to really enjoy the benefits of life. And you can do that. I'll tell you this. The easiest thing for you to do is to transform your life and begin to live that life that you want to live. The hardest thing for you to do is to believe that you can do it. But when you surrender to transformation, your surrendering to the transformation is what's going to allow you to move into the place where now I can embrace this transformation. Because the transformation is going to allow me to go from the caterpillar into the butterfly. And some of you are saying, I've been a caterpillar so long, I never even realized or even thought that there would be an opportunity for me to become a butterfly. Yes, you can become a butterfly today. Surrender to the transformation. Stop holding on to the old patterns, the old places that you go, the old thought patterns, the old identities that you have, the old personalities that you have, right? A caterpillar has to surrender and not hold on to its cocoon or its resting place, but realize that this is temporary and I'm surrendering to transformation so I can turn into a butterfly. Reinvention isn't about pretending to be someone new. It's about revealing who you've always been underneath the survival. Reinvention, learning how to reinvent yourself. I love to see celebrities who over the years, even our music artists, who seem to reinvent themselves over the years. They do things to reinvent their look, reinvent their music, reinvent their style, and they come back stronger. They're still thriving. Later, it's 20, 30 years in the game. You know why? Because they understood the process of evolution. When you understand evolution, you realize that, listen, this is not today's situation. This is a lifetime situation. This is a journey. And I'm not looking to get everything I was looking for in one day, but I understand the journey as I move forward into my level of transformation and I surrender to it. I'm going to be now turning from a noun into a verb, and I'm going to be in my becoming. I'm a verb. And in that, I begin to move and operate and really put myself in a great position to really thrive. See, when you start embracing evolution, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand this. When we teach this kind of stuff, I'm teaching this to you. And what that means is that you don't take this information and go throw it in your husband's face and say, hey, listen, you need to listen to this. You need to change. You don't take this information and go throw it in your wife's face and say, hey, listen, Issachar Bey was teaching on evolution, and you need to listen. You need to get with the program, and you need to go ahead and get with the pillar of evolution. No, that's not what you're supposed to do with it. You're supposed to embrace this information, and you're supposed to allow it to allow you to surrender to the transformation and to move into your becoming and embrace this pillar of evolution. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? As you begin to move into your becoming and you begin to surrender the transformation and you move from the caterpillar into the butterfly, guess what? Your whole family, your husband, your wife, your children, your mother, your father, everybody used to talk to you as a caterpillar. But now that you surrendered to transformation and you're no longer the caterpillar and now you have transformed into the butterfly, they now have to change in order to talk to the butterfly, because all this time, all they know how to do is talk to the caterpillar. So, ladies and gentlemen, the change that you wanted had to happen in you first. Whew, I hope you got that. The change that you wanted to happen in life, it had to happen with you first. Because when it happened in you, now everybody in your family, everything that happens, they have to change now. They have to say, wait a minute, oh man, I have to change and I have to redirect and reposition myself, because now this person is a butterfly. I've never had to talk to them as a butterfly before. So now you get the change you want, because you're not the same caterpillar no more. You're a butterfly. And so that's why it's important that we learn how to take this information into ourselves and we begin to work with it. Reinvention isn't fake, it's freedom. Create a personal evolution plan. List areas of your life that need a software upgrade. Accept that evolution requires separation. Not everyone can go with you. Not everyone can go with you. Listen, when you transform from the caterpillar to the butterfly, everybody's not going to be able to transform with you. There's some people that's going to be like, oh, that person is used to be a caterpillar, now they're a butterfly. I'm still with the caterpillars. So they're not going to be able to go with you when you evolve to the butterfly, and that's okay. I just need you to be okay with that and not try to hold on to the past or hold on to people that can't go with you. You know, I was listening to an interview by First Lady Michelle Obama, and she was talking about the experience of her and her husband, their first time into the White House in 2008. And she said the difficult part about it was that there was a lot of family and friends and people who they wanted to bring with them, but they were not ready. And so they had to leave them. And at some point it was difficult to leave people, but they had to learn that everybody can't go where you're going. So we had to leave them because they weren't ready to make the jump. They weren't ready to get in that position. They weren't ready to leave, to transform from the caterpillar to the butterfly. And so we had to let them stay as a caterpillar. And even you, ladies and gentlemen, in your relationships, in your marriage, in your the relationships with your children, the relationships with your parents or your siblings, you have to learn that everybody can't go with you. Everybody's not going to want to make that transformation. And that's okay. Accept that evolution requires separation. Be willing to feel foolish. Every new version of yourself will feel awkward before it feels authentic. So yeah, once you become a butterfly, you know, and I want you to understand this, evolution keeps happening and happening. So yes, you used to be a caterpillar and then you are now a butterfly. Now you're going to go back into being a caterpillar, and then you're going to become a butterfly. On every different level of life, on every different plateau, there's going to be that transformational period. But when you become a butterfly, it feels funny because, yes, you've never been in this position before. This is something new. Remember, we're the verb. We're becoming. We're not a noun. We're a verb. We are becoming. So once we move into the becoming of it, we only get out of life what we become. So everything that I want to experience in life, I'm going to become that thing. Why? Because once I become that thing, I begin to now magnetize and pull in the things that I need. I'm becoming. I'm becoming. And so when we look at that, we understand that every new version of myself will feel awkward, but I understand that it will feel awkward at a point before it becomes authentic. Honor the death of the old self. Don't mourn them, thank them for surviving, and let them go. It's always good to honor the old you, to honor the ways that you thought. Why? Because you've learned lessons that got you to this point. So it's good to honor it, but don't hold on to it. Don't mourn it. Don't when you mourn something, you hold on to this thing. And even in the honor, you can mourn and honor at the same time, but make sure you let it go and that you don't hold on to it, because I want to be able to have room to embrace the new me, the new evolution of myself. And so I don't want to hold on to the old me and embrace what I used to be, what I used to do, what I used to have. But I want to embrace the newness of who I am. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment your decline begins. Because we never arrive, ladies and gentlemen. We always keep thriving. Yes, you got the house. Yes, you got the car. Yes, you got the good bank account. Yes, you can travel the world. Yes, you are able to no longer be worrying about how to pay the bills, but everything is covered now. But you have not arrived. Why? Because you still need to understand that you're operating in your purpose. And so you're still learning how to become a better version of yourself. You haven't arrived yet. You haven't got to the plateau destination. You're still evolving. So whatever your level you're at today, we're going to go higher next week. We're going to go higher next month, right? The greats, they studied. The masters learned from the students. The wise upgraded their beliefs regularly. So you keep thriving, you keep working, you keep putting yourself in a position to become a better version of yourself. Why? Because guess what? If I get out of life what I've become, the more I put myself in a better position, the more I become a better version of myself, the better opportunities, the better experiences, and the better situations will begin to take place in my life. The pillar of evolution, my friends. Every level of success requires a different frequency of thought. If your vision is 2025, but you have a mindset your mindset is still in 2005, you've already lost. Read, study behind your comfort zone. Stretch your mind with diverse ideas. Surround yourself with evolving people. Growth is contagious. Invest in new teachers, coaches, and environments. Stay connected to communities like this. Don't protect outdated truths. Be willing to outgrow even your favorite philosophies. Evolution doesn't mean you were wrong before. It means you're wiser now. Let me say that again. Evolution doesn't mean you were wrong before. It just means you are wiser now. Your evolution is not just personal, it's public. The more you grow, the more people you free. When you evolve, your voice changes. When you evolve, your audience deepens. When you evolve, your mission expands. Some people are still trying to influence the world using the same message that made sense 5 years ago, but evolution requires you to update your transmission. You are a frequency, not just a figure. And when your frequency evolves, you attract new opportunities, new people, new portals. Audit your message. Does it still reflect who you're becoming? Create from your evolution, not from your ego. Serve higher level problems. Evolved leaders help others evolve. Build legacy from a place of evolution. We talked about legacy and one of the other pillars. And so, like I said, this is amazing to me because I think that this is so important. It seems like every week the pillar that we on seems so much more important than the one before, because this pillar of evolution is extremely important. For anybody who's thinking about growing, expanding your family generation, you're leaving for generations to generations to generations. I mean, this is unbelievable, you know, to be able to embrace this. You know, I like to say this: I give myself permission to evolve endlessly. I release the outdated versions of myself with grace. I am not here to stay the same. I am here to ascend. My growth is sacred and necessary. I reinvent myself in alignment with my divine truth. I grow, expand, and elevate with every new season. I am safe to outgrow who I once was. I am committed to evolving into my higher self. Every day I shed old skin and rise renewed. I honor the journey of becoming. My evolution inspires the awakening of others. I evolve with integrity, truth, and boldness. I choose evolution over stagnation. I embrace change as a catalyst for greatness. My spirit was born to ascend, transform, and transmute. I evolve beyond survival and into mastery. I am no longer who I was. I am becoming who I'm meant to be. Every level of me is a portal to higher purpose. My evolution is eternal and divine. I rise as the newest version of myself daily. And, you know, when you start working with this week, those of you that are working with this, and you're going to begin to work with this pillar of evolution, I want you to understand the benefits of it. There's so many great benefits of operating and working with the pillar of evolution. There's benefits like increased alignment with your higher purpose, expanded influence and leadership, emotional maturity and resilience, creative expansion, spiritual elevation, freedom to live authentically, the ability to adapt to new opportunities, alignment with divine timing, released from the fear of change, the power to shape your destiny intentionally. And I just think that when you get into that motion of operating in that and understanding the pillar of evolution, I think that your life will never be the same. Listen, I really enjoyed this lesson. I think it was wonderful. I hope that somebody walks away and really understands the power of this word for today, and that you can take this pillar of evolution and go to your home tonight and begin to work with it and watch how you go from the caterpillar and surrender to transformation and become the butterfly. And as you become the butterfly and make that change, watch how things begin to change in your household. Watch how things begin to change on your job. Watch how things change in your family and your inner circle. Why? Because you have moved into the level of evolution. You're no longer holding on to the old ways, the old you, the old ways of thinking, but you moved on to a new thing. Even in your relationships, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are married, those of you who are living with your soulmates and your boyfriend and your girlfriend, watch how things change when you begin to change and move into that level of evolution. And so I want to thank all of you for tuning in, being a part of this great series, The 8 Pillars of Success. We're in a very intimate, I would say, a very, very looked upon time right now in this world. We've just experienced a solar eclipse on yesterday that was done at 9 degrees of Aries. So, those of you may not understand what that means. It means that the eclipse and the new moon was done at Aries, in the sign of Aries. And so an eclipse usually lasts about 6 months. It's usually, whenever there's a solar eclipse, it usually talks about major transformations, major changes in the areas of life that it hits. And so, as I said before, we're moving into a place now where we are standing on the pillars of success. We're standing on the pillars, we're operating, we're moving into those. And so I want to thank all of you for your consistency. I want to move into circulation. Those of you that want to be a blessing to this ministry, that want to be a blessing to our organization, we ask if you want to donate, if you want to sow a seed. There are 4 ways that you can give. We ask everybody to sow the $26 seed. And it's amazing how we are working with the 26, because 2 plus 6 is 8. We're dealing with the 8 pillars of success. We're normally dealing with 8 because 8 is the number of manifestation. 8 is the number of pulling things out of heaven onto earth. If you look at the number 8, it looks like 2 zeros sitting on top of them. And when I look at the number 8, I see heaven and then I see earth. And so as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. Heaven is your mind. And when you learn how to pull things out of the heaven of your mind, you'll be able to manifest them and bring them into the physical reality of your physical domain. And so that's why we work with the number 8. We work with the number 26. And so that's why we ask a lot of you to be a part of our circulation. That means whenever you release something out of your hands and it goes into circulation, it comes back to its original point of origin. So we believe that once you relieve your donation, your seed out and relieve it and let it go, we believe that we speak it into existence, that you will receive a 100-fold return, that everything that you release will come back to you 100-fold, and that everything you put your hands to do in this year will be made successful, and that it will grow and that it will expand. And as you move into your pillar of evolution and you begin to move into that level of becoming, and you begin to now bring into fruition of everything that you have become, we stand as witnesses and begin to cheer you on and celebrate with you as you begin to manifest your dreams and goals. There are 4 ways that you can give. The first way is going to be Cash App, and that's going to be $TOESC. Once again, that's $TOESC. All the ways to give are also in the bottom of the description, so you can look and govern yourselves accordingly. Also, the second way that you can give is going to be PayPal and Zelle. PayPal and Zelle are going to be our email, which is going to be info, INFO, at TOESC.org. And that's going to be info at TOESC.org. Those are the 2 ways that you can give, which is going to be Zelle and PayPal. And then the last way you can give is going to be Venmo. And Venmo is going to be our email address, which is going to be Issachar Bey, ISSACHARBEY @gmail.com. Issachar Bey @gmail.com is going to be our Venmo, if those of you want to give that way. Some of you may say, I don't have the $26. Some of you say, I may have $5. I may have $10. Some of you say, hey, I want to give $8. I want to give $15. Whatever it is that you have on your heart's desire to give, we receive it and we bless it and we thank you wholeheartedly, because we understand that your donation helps us to expand. It helps us to run advertisement. It helps us to do so many different things to try to get our channel up, to try to get more people like yourself to become a part of our platform and be beneficial to this teaching and to this community. And so we want to say thank you to all of you. We are forever grateful. We appreciate you. We love you. And like I said all the time, your destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.